up on NFL Primetime.
Touchdown Titans! There are no flags on the field!
Can part 2 of Wild Card Weekend possibly top that? The Vikes' deadly receivers plan for an aerial assault at the Metrodome, while the boys look for one more legendary run behind their champions. Can slumping Seattle soar, or will they be the Seabass? The floundering Fish got their playoff wish. Could this be Dan's last chance? And which teams will survive another Sunday? It's playoff prime time next. Hello and welcome to Wild Card Sunday of NFL Primetime. I'm Chris Berman along with, wait a minute.
I'm not Tom.
No, not, Mike Golick is with us. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Boom?
I'm good. Hey, playoff football.
You know, the great thing about this is the finality. If you're on the winning team, because you lose, next time you're at your place, you're packing your gear to go home.
That is for sure. We're down to 8 teams, and we should say that Tom is not here. We now have the Jackson 4. Tom and Jen Jackson already with Taylor, and then yesterday afternoon, Morgan Jackson. So congratulations to the Jackson 4.
Let's see highlights of that, maybe.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's a singing group, right? All right, the Jacksons enjoyed the game, and we enjoyed a little playoff richness in history. When you put the Cowboys and Vikings together, you think back to great playoff matchups in the 70s, like the Hail Mary. This year, the Minnesota Vikings kind of coming from off the pace a little bit. Last year, they were the heavy favorites in '98. This year, they're going to try and sneak through the back door a little bit in the NFC playoffs. For Dallas, a chance to kind of make good on a season in which their last road win was opening day in early September. Here we go to the Great White North, where the Cowboys on a Monday night in November actually had the Vikings down 17-0 before Minnesota wins it. Eric Williams, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Troy Aikman. 16th playoff game for him. Cowboys with experience, and one of the guys with experience, Emmitt Smith. Cowboys, hey, Tony Dorsett, you mentioned the names, Calvin Hill, etc. Nobody had ever run a playoff run for Dallas in the postseason longer than this. 65 yards, and maybe he tripped over Greg LaFleur, Mike.
But I tell you what, and I played against this guy a lot. He's very tough to bring down, but this is some of the poorest tackling I've seen in a while. These guys just are not wrapping up, and Emmitt does a great job of shaking him. Should have gotten the end zone, though.
Well, but Dallas will get in the end zone, right? I mean, 2 yards down to the 1. All right, so now we have second to go from the 1. Emmitt. This is McDaniel and Dwayne Rudd. Now 3rd and inches. Aikman. Oh, play action. David LaFleur. Oh, it's hard to overthrow him, but he did. 3-0 Dallas rather than 7-0 for Chan Gailey. Vikings held on first possession. Mitch Berger. Oh, it's fumbled by Deion Sanders, and Dwayne Rudd is Johnny on the spot.
You know, you're used to getting down there fast to cover this guy. You don't expect the ball to be on the ground. Bad mistake by Deion.
So the Vikings keep possession, and 5 plays later, Gary Anderson, 47 yards. It's good. We're tied at 3-all. So one miscue, Dallas cost them 3 points. Next possession, 2nd and 10. Aikman to the Rocket Man. Rocket Ishmael, 45 yards. Boy, Dallas comes out in this game, as they did on the Monday, as they have so many times this year, strong in the first quarter. Aikman, Ishmael, 15 yards. And Ishmael, well, Troy Aikman saw the matchup.
Well, Aikman did see the matchup. 3 receivers there. Ishmael on the safety, Robert Griffith. Fastest man on the Dallas team. Easy matchup against the safety. Knows he'll get some space. Waits for him to clear. Aikman hits it right on the money.
3 plays later, 1st and goal at the 5. This time it is Emmitt. And it is a touchdown. His 21st career touchdown, tying him with Thurman Thomas, #1 all-time postseason touchdown list. Aikman to Robert Thomas, but again, it's Dwayne Rudd. He strips to the ball. Whoop, whoop. Anthony Bass swimming to it for the Vikings. So, another miscue for Dallas. Robert Smith, 12 yards. Boy, a healthy Robert Smith. What a different club this is, as if they don't have enough weapons. 3rd and 25. George to Robert Smith. George Teague. Oh, he's always around the ball. Unfortunately, he was just around the ball. 3rd and 25. It's a touchdown. We're tied at 10, late second quarter. 1st and 10 Vikes. Watch this by Jeff George. Wing! Does he fire this or what? To Randy Moss. Touchdown, 58 yards. The Vikings with the lead.
That's why those receivers like Jeff George in that game. He gets the ball down there. Moss just gets a little push off at the end, gets a little space, and then does a little back dance in.
And he goes over Kevin Mathis, and he goes in to see all the Vikings. And Eric the Red is in there. 17-10 Vikings, and now 3rd quarter. George to Moss. Whoop. Charlie Williams spun around like a top. 24 yards, and there's those underneath. We're going to talk about that in a moment.
Yes, we will.
Later on in the drive, they settle for a field goal. Gary Anderson. Now it's 20-10. Minnesota. 4th quarter. 3rd and 5 Vikings. And you know what? He runs it, but he also catches and runs. He's got a little convoy as Robert Smith. And he's got a little afterburner, too. 32 yards on the play. 3 plays later. 3rd and 1 at the 5. Chris Carter, all he does?
Catch, touchdown.
This is all he did this game. 1 catch, 5 yards, but it's a touchdown. And the Vikings are 27-10, Mike.
This is what Carter and George see. Charlie Williams is going to blitz. George Teague has man-to-man. He's too far back. You can't be in man-to-man off the blitz and be this far off your receiver. Too much room. It's one of the easier touchdown passes he's had.
The only thing going wrong with the Vikings at this point with the huge kickoff, watch Leif Erikson in the end zone. Oh, man! He almost got hit by that wayward ship. But hey, he's fired up. Leif Erikson at the game. So, Shangaley not as amused. Says, yeah, I got away from this. Now I'm back to it, even though I'm down 17 points. And Emmitt Smith, 22 yards. Later in the drive, 3rd and 8. Dallas going to make a game of it. They're 9 minutes to go. Jason Tucker inside the 10. Oh, it's a fumble. And whoop. The ball gets, they get in the end zone. The problem is they're not holding on to the ball. Touchback. Would have been a 10-point. Michael Irvin looking on. Later in the 4th, they are admittedly running out of time, but you never know. Aikman picked off by Robert Griffin. So twice deep to maybe get in the game. They can't do it. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith going home. 1-8 on the road this year. Chris Carter, Minnesota Vikings. Moving on. They'll be on the road as long as they go in the playoffs. But the key thing is they're going in the playoffs. Vikings beat the Cowboys 27-10. Total of 198 yards, 140 of them rushing by Robert Smith. Troy Aikman with good numbers. Emmitt Smith with good numbers. 15 carries, 99 yards. Passes Franco Harris. He now has 1,586 postseason yards. That's #1 all-time in rushing. But in the end, the Cowboys, another one of those 500 teams that can't get it done in the playoffs. And the Minnesota Vikings have the hot hand. Jeff George as a starter, now 9-2, and they got weapons.
And in playoffs, they want to go to the Super Bowl. So, you know, we can't really get ahead of ourselves or jump around and things like that because we still got some games to play.
How do I assess the season? 8 and 9. Mediocre, up and down, nothing consistent.
We underachieved. We underachieved. When you sit in that locker room, it's unbelievable looking around at the guys collectively. Especially, I think we placed 5 guys on the Pro Bowl and probably had another 2 or 3 that deserve to go also. And you can't go any farther than the first round. That's not good.
It's just one game, and you know this team's ultimate goal is just like everybody else, is to win a championship.
Well, the Minnesota Vikings just spot Dallas the lead, Mike, but they come on like gangbusters. And okay, so Dallas holds Chris Carter to 1 catch for 5 yards. Hey, we're doing okay, but they had to give up something, right?
Well, absolutely. Everybody talks about the passing attack of Minnesota, but how about that running game? And boom, as you said, a healthy Robert Smith. What a job he does. And not just an inside or an outside guy, because you can take that part away. He was running inside. He said when there was no hole there, you put his shoulder down, he's bowling ahead for 4 or 5 more and getting on the outside. And those screen passes, just like sweeps, getting to the outside, keeps his hands on the ball. I mean, you know this offensive passing machine may get it going, but to have that run, Hort only had 1 carry in this, and he usually has a nice 1-2 punch.
So Robert Smith now 4 to the last 7 games, 100 yards. He had a 1,000-yard season, even though he missed several with the injury. You like the adjustments Minnesota made and the much maligned, really, from last year, Ray Sherman.
Oh, absolutely. Let's give Ray Sherman a lot of credit for this. Everybody knows Minnesota loves to go deep. Well, what Dallas did, they kept their safeties back. Moss would go down the field. Those safeties were tearing out of there, so Jeff George was hanging on to the ball, waiting for Moss to clear. He got sacked 3 times. So what do? Moss runs off the safety, cuts it right underneath. Nice 15, 20-yard gains. Good adjustment by Ray Sherman.
So Minnesota now goes into St. Louis. We'll talk about next week's matchups at the end of the show. And that, you know, that you could have to bring your abacus for that game. That could be a lot of fun. The Dallas Cowboys, one of 8 teams 500 or worse to make the playoffs. What a surprise. All 8 lost the first playoff game that they played. We go inside the numbers. You know, like that Monday night game, early on, Dallas was great. First 2 possessions, they were wonderful, but after that, a different story. First quarter, 152 yards. Last 3 quarters, only 237 yards. So a 17-0 lead on Monday night, a 10-3 lead in this game, 0-2 in the WL column.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. Log on to ESPN.com for more Inside the Numbers.
We return the final piece of the opening round puzzle. Dan Marino and the Dolphins. Could they win far, far, far away from home in the Kingdome against the Seattle Seahawks?
So
I
had
fun.
That's how I'll call you.
Yeah, okay.
Well, hey. Next time I'll remember to bring enough cash for both of us.
Next time, use the Visa check card instead of cash. It's fast, easy, and accepted everywhere Visa is. So you can get what you need and get on with life.
There are two kinds of drivers in this world. Those who've had a flat tire and those who will. That's why there's Fix a Flat. Spare yourself.
Hi, Dad. You wish you had a camera now, don't you?
A digital camera. It's a simple way to send photos over the internet.
640 by 480 resolution is fine for websites, but for larger formats, a million pixels is a good benchmark.
If learning about digital cameras were this easy, you wouldn't need a place like 800.com. But it isn't. So you do. 800.com. Everything you always wanted from an electronics store and more.
My driving test kind of got off to a bad start.
On calls like this, you want to talk a while. That's why it's always a good idea to dial 10-10-321.
Well, I thought I was in first.
With 10-10-321, you save 50% on calls over 10 minutes. But that's just 8 cents a minute, day or night.
I was supposed to turn on the blinker.
And no monthly fees. And at 50% off, you can go on and on and on.
So finally, I pull out of the parking space.
Talk as long as you want with 10-10-321.
There are two kinds of drivers in this world. Those who've had a flat tire and those who will. That's why there's Fix a Flat. Spare yourself.
Now, does this look good or what? After this show, we get to throw to Maui Nokaoi.
How about we go there?
Mercedes Championships. Tiger Woods, Ernie Els in the lead. Live golf following prime time. Sunday NFL Countdown if there's playoffs. We're here. On Saturday at 11 a.m. for an hour. Sunday 11:30 a.m. for an hour. And if there's playoffs, we're always here for Jazz. Next week, 7:30 both nights. When we return, would Miami's defense help Dan Marino out? Or would young John Kitna lead the Seahawks to their first home playoff game in 15 years?
Bob Sura. Andrew to Brevin Knight. Brevin pulls up 15-footer. Good! Lamont Murray to unload a three. Ring it up! That's Brevin Knight fading and filling up the jumper at the buzzer.
Austin Powers is coming to pay-per-view, and you can go interactive with him for the very first time. Just order Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me on pay-per-view, then log on to austinpowers.com to download the free plugin.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Now you're ready to watch the movie on your TV while you simultaneously play along on your computer. Cool.
Very psychedelic.
So go interactive and play along with Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, only on pay-per-view.
On the foul line of life you stand alone, but that's not the way it has to be. Everyone needs a family. Taking a three-point shot for love, taking the bus on the big game day, taking a charge for the team you play for, taking a chance, going all the way. There's nothing you can't do, 'cause there's no I in team, but there's definitely a you.
Hoops Malone, brought to you by College Hoops, is coming soon to ESPN.
The final piece of the opening round wildcard weekend puzzle pitted Miami and Seattle. Not really linked in history, or were they? 1983, 1984. First two seasons for Dan Marino. His first two playoff games were against the Seattle Seahawks. The week before each of those games at the Orange Bowl, Seattle had home playoff games at the Kingdome. Interesting. Here we are in the 99 season. Would this be, in a loss, Dan Marino's final game for Miami? And with a loss, it would definitely be the final game ever at the Kingdome. You start, There it is. The world's largest orange juice squeezer. The stay of execution, it stayed around because they got a home game. Marino, Jimmy Johnson are both staying, are both leaving, or a combination thereof. First things first, try to win a playoff game. Zach Thomas covering Joey Galloway. You know, the speed isn't the same, but Zach knocks it away. Zach had a big game. John Kitna, first playoff game. Mike Pritchard, first down. 2 plays later, Kitna on the move. Pritchard, 13 yards, first down. Next play, dump to Ricky Waters. Waters busts outside, then inside the 10. 2 plays later, Kitna, Sean Dawkins, 7-0 Seahawks. This drive set up by a good punt earlier by Beagles. Kitna 4 for 6 on the drive. Doing kickoff at Brock Mary at the 3, gets some blocks. I tell you what, you can see later Seattle made a big play on special teams, but their special teams not a good day overall, Mike. 6 plays later, with Dolphins, 3rd down at the Seahawks 18, Marino to Tony Martin. Ooh, Willie Williams drags him short of the first down. Jimmy's going to go for it on 4th and 1. Tick, 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 we better call a timeout. Then they changed their mind.
Yeah, they should have kicked it right from the get-go, would have saved themselves a timeout. You should have gone for 3 here, just what they did.
Olindo Mate. He set a record this year with 39 field goals. He's almost automatic good. 32 yards at 7-3 Seattle. Second quarter, Kitna, plenty of time. Look for Joey Galloway. But he's overthrown on a first down. I mean, it was not as good as the punt. It was a first down play. Brock Marion makes a good play.
Boy, he really does, but what a bad throw. You see the great one-handed catch, but as you said, it was first down. There's 3 defenders down there. No way Kitna should be making that throw down the middle of the field.
So under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Now Seattle driving again. Kitna with a swing. The Waters look at Sam Madison. Stops him, but he does it by grabbing the face mask. So first down is then tacked on 15 more yards, and Seattle is in business. 3 plays later, on 3rd and inches following the penalty walk-off, Sean Wood, what a big play by him. Stalls the drive, and so Todd Peterson tied for 2nd most field goals in the NFL this year with 34 from 50 yards, like you're going to see from Kapalua, the draw. The slight draw, you worked it, the fade, I should say, the slight fade. Well, my golf game is a 16 handicap. And Holmgren and the Seahawks are up 10-3 at the half. 3rd quarter. Marino to O.J. McDuffie, 27 yards out of the 19. Marino to J.J. Johnson. Look at the cutback move by the big fella, Mike.
It's a good move, getting all the defenders one way, coming back, not enough pursuit by Seattle.
3 plays later on 3rd and 1. Marino 6 for 6 in this drive. That's a touchdown. Oronde Gadsden, we're tied at 10. The flag is on the Seahawks. But here's the good special teams play by the Seahawks. Sometimes you bobble it as Charlie Rogers does. Everybody waits. You think Murray's going to get him? No, he could go all the way. 85-yard kickoff return. Seattle back in the lead, 17-10.
Boy, and I tell you what, if you can't juke the kicker, you don't want to be in films the next day. There's no way that the kicker should be able to tackle it, but he's got to be able to slow him up a little more than that.
So Dolphins get the ball back down by 7 again, and Marino, Tony Martin, it's just way underthrown. Next play, Marino to the hands of Martin. Next play on 3rd and 10. Marino trying to get Martin involved in the game. Throws it deep. At this point, he had the feeling that maybe we're watching the end of a legend. I mean, we'll see. Willie Williams almost picks it off. Next possession, Miami. You know Jimmy wants to run. And Autry Denson from
Notre Dame
gets some blocks, runs across midfield, 17 yards. Next play, Autry Denson from
Notre Dame.
11 yards, another first down. Drive stalls. Murray from 50 yards. Now, you want to see a 50-yard field goal that you don't even sweat out? Oh, my God, it's good from 60.
Easy.
17-13, Seattle. 4th quarter, 10 minutes left. Trace Armstrong doesn't even leave a trace when he gets around the tackle. And the Dolphins get the ball back. Armstrong had a huge game. Back to their own 8 on 3rd and 17. Tony Martin is wide open for 23 yards, Mike.
Let me tell you what, Marino can't move in the pocket at all. You have a 3-man rush. Blitz him, get in his face, make him throw the ball quick. He gets time, makes an easy completion.
Remember that play, 3rd and 17 after Seattle showed blitz, and there was an illegal motion penalty on Richmond Webb. That was 17 yards to Martin, Marino to Martin, 20 yards down to the 29. 3 plays later on 3rd and 10. Marino, free play with Seattle offside. Gadsden, 24 yards down to the 5. 2 plays later, J.J. Johnson to Johnson on Miami without the perfect hair, but with the perfect run. Touchdown, first lead of the game for that guy with the hair, 20-17. Seahawks get it back, 1st and 10. And here's, look at 93, Trace Armstrong. Sack of Kitna. Next play, 2nd and 18. This time it's Jerry Wilson and Rich Owens. Double team Kitna for a sack. 3rd and 24. Trace Armstrong. Again. Oh, my goodness. Dolphins defense smelling him with the lead. Then later, last chance Seahawks. Kitna. Picked off by Terrell Buckley. And that ends it. Mike Holmgren's season ends in Seattle. Jimmy Johnson's season continues in Miami. As Dan Marino, he's done it 46 times now overall and 3 times in the playoffs. A 4th quarter comeback. The Dolphins beat the Seahawks 20-17. Zach Thomas had 9 stops. Trace Armstrong had the 3 sacks. Marino will officially throw for under 200 yards, but almost all of them come in the second half, and he played with authority. Jimmy Johnson moving on.
I told the players we're going to win the game. I said, don't worry about winning the game. I said, we're going to win the game. I said, you worry about winning 1 play at a time.
Everything in life is a learning experience, and this is something that we can learn from, that I can learn from, we can build on. I think we understand now what it takes to get into the playoffs.
We know it's been, bad here the last month or so, but we still have a good football team, and we can get it back together.
It's a big win for us. Come all the way to Seattle, on the road, and a hostile crowd. I mean, they're as loud as it gets anywhere. And we talked about being patient with it. The whole game, the offensive line did a great job, and it's a big win doing that. So, we take it 1 at a time. We win 2 more, and we got a shot.
And there's nothing wrong with seeing Dan Marino continuing the playoffs. Mike, 6 for 6 in the first drive in the 3rd quarter, but that 3rd and 17 pass, we have the glimpses of the Dan Marino that's as good as ever played, and that's why Miami won it.
Well, absolutely, and I said all along, I live and die with this guy on the field. Marino is going to take him as far as they're going to go, but they mixed it up with the running game today. 37 rushes for 108 yards. Again, it's not the amount of yards, it's the amount of rushes. They're controlling the ball. It's successful. Play-action passes work a little more. What that does, it buys Dan Marino, who's of the shoddy leg department, can't move around, a little more time in the pocket. But I tell you what, that 3rd and 17 play was the play there. How you don't blitz them and make them come out of there quick.
Mike Holmgren, of course, is an offensive guru, and he is, but we talk a lot. This was one of the least convincing game plans he had. It was a field position. We don't turn it over. In difference, it was Miami that turned it over. So we got to play good defense. Seattle's defense up the middle of the field, both deep and at the line of scrimmage, Mike, not very good. I think you see a lot of changes with this team next year.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, Miami's defense, they did a good job. They started to slip up a little bit. They finished up strong. 9 pass breakups for that defense today and shut down the run as well.
Couple notes. The first 6 seed ever to win a playoff game in the AFC. I know that only goes back to 1990, but how about this? Miami's first road playoff win since 1972. When they won them all, when home field was kind of on rotation, saying, well, how can you win them all and be on the road? First road playoff win since 72. So, who gets game balls? Mike and I will dole them out when we continue on NFL Primetime.
Buzz Aldrin and I don't take the same approach to investing. I like trading at home. Buzz trades from far away. Gotcha. We do, however, share the same new way to trade online.
Introducing Power Street by Fidelity, with the tools you need to trade your way, whether online, two-way pager, or the new Palm 7 handheld computer.
And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use it.
Speak for yourself, Bob.
Power Street at Fidelity.com. Online trading gets personal.
He had power that could not be matched.
Thinks he's champion of the world.
Courage.
We're looking for 2 Negroes in a white car.
Any 2 will do.
That could not be shaken.
I will not wear the clothes of a guilty man.
And a spirit.
You give me hope. It is more powerful than a fist can ever be.
That could not be broken.
Hate put me in prison. Love's gonna bust me out.
The Hurricane. Rated R. Now in select theaters. Opens Friday everywhere.
Their final game. Their biggest day. The nation's top college players strut their stuff in Palo Alto. The East-West Shrine Classic, Saturday at 4 on ESPN.
Whether you're new to hockey or a longtime viewer, there's something for every fan to learn about the coolest game on earth. It's NHL Rules. This Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, as Colorado visits Chicago on ESPN2.
Hi, I'm Troy Aikman of the Dallas Cowboys. The NFL and the United Way are working together to help our neighbors in need. Our NFL partnership with United Way reflects the league's commitment to giving back to our communities and fans. Over the years, hundreds of NFL owners, coaches, and players have volunteered their time to work with United Way agencies. By working together, the NFL and the United Way are making a difference. The NFL, the United Way and you, the power of teamwork.
My game ball, Mike, I'm going to take defensive side of the ball. Trace Armstrong led the Miami defense a big second half. He had 3 sacks. Remember, he ended the Bills season with Flutie last year, forcing the play in the end.
I'll go with Robert Smith. 198 total yards. He got him inside. He got him outside. He carried that team today.
When we return, we will get you set for the next round of the playoffs. The 4 teams that didn't play, the Jags, and Ed Gerin and the Colts and Marshall and the Rams and Warren Sapp and that Bucs defense. They're chomping at the bit. So are we.
That's a component video cable. Goes from the DVD player to the TV.
He hasn't spoken in nearly 5 years.
And for optimal sound, make sure the digital audio output is connected to the receiver.
If setting up that new home theater were this easy, you wouldn't need a place like 800.com. But it isn't.
This is great.
So you do.
Thanks for your help, Grandpa.
Grandpa? 800.com. Everything you always wanted from an electronics store and more.
Grandpa?
We interrupt this program for an important news brief. MCI Now offers 5 cents a minute every day, so you can call every evening and all weekend long. Bugs?
This is big news.
Right, Bugs. Just 5 cents. Mere change.
Change is good.
To sign up, just punch in 1-800 every day.
If I punch. Ow. Man, what a ham.
Call 1-800 every day to join.
A new year. The usual suspects. Will Tiger Woods continue his reign, or will one of these marksmen steal the day? The PGA Tour kicks off the 2000 season in prime time with the Mercedes Championships. Coverage continues tonight at 8 on ESPN.
NFL Prime Time is brought to you by 800.com. Everything you've always wanted from an electronics store and more.
Get you set for the AFC. You know, the 3 pro teams in Florida all play on Saturday. Miami.